how could they trust you? You didn't even speak Farsi. You didn't speak the language. You're sat in front of them. You're French.
That's exactly why.
Forget the fact that they might be like, oh, you might not have thought that you were Jewish or Israeli aligned,
adjacent,
but adjacent. But you were the French are still the enemies of.
No, of course not. Are you kidding me? The French welcome Khomeini. They gave him exile. The French and also a lot of Iranians and Iranian society is very much enamored with the French. I mean, we are the people of the revolution. We chopped up kings' heads.
Okay, so because of the French Revolution, that was a big inspiration for the Islamic Revolution.
I think that a lot of it, I don't know if it was the French Revolution per se, but I think it was the notion that France was not perceived as the enemy. Maybe not for the right reason, in that they just thought that France had lost its... So
they had a pro-French prejudice?
No, not pro-French prejudice, but I don't think that they saw France as much as a threat as they did Britain, for example. They saw France as a former colonial power that had lost its bite, that had no desire to fight against the rise of Islamic radicalism, a nation that had capitulated once to Nazi Germany and would capitulate again, before the mighty and the strong.
Is this your opinions or their opinions?
No, it was very much their opinion, but as well as mine, because it happens to be true. I mean, I'm sorry. The French, look, I'm French, and I would love to tell you that the French are a proud people. They were once upon a time. I think something happened. You might want to ask Emmanuel Macron what he did, or his wife. But yeah. Okay,
so for whatever reason, maybe partly for their feelings about France, they sort of trust you. They see what you've written. You've accreted enough of a reputation with all that you've been writing. You're appearing, and that are you sort of part of the woodwork? Are you kind of famous in these circles? This is the French writer Catherine. She's on our side. She's part of the propaganda machine. How is that?
Is because, look, I became the protege of Nader Talebzadeh, the chief propagandist of the regime. He was the one man in Iran that could walk into Khamenei's office without an invitation, without an appointment. He could call him up. He's the one when I was...
He's the one that groomed you as a propagandist.
Of course. That was the one man. So, look,
his was the oversight. His was the mistake. He made that mistake at the beginning of letting you in.
Well, he did, yes. Nader was above the RSGC. I mean, he was part of the RSGC, but I mean, it was like so much so that no one refused him.
Okay.
So I was the only one. I mean, just to give you an indication as to, how far his power reached. Normally in Iran, you have very strict rules when it comes to interviewing state officials, especially presidential hopeful, a day before the actual election, where Western media is not allowed anywhere near, just in case, there's a paranoia about, oh my God, what if they could interfere? I was allowed near the man, and he took a phone call because the RSGC was actually against it, because they were like, but you don't have a press authorization. You're not registered anywhere. You just showed up. And Nader made a phone call to Raisi. Raisi then called the RSGC, said, just let the girl go. That was it. Just to, so Nader had power. I mean, he's the one who organized everything, architected everything. I had dinner at his house. I had, his wife used to make breakfast for many people from the RSGC and Basij. And I was there. He's the one who organized many great conferences in Iran. He was the one behind the conference on Palestine that was organized. It's the New Horizon that was organized in 2017. He's the one who managed to pull Khamenei, to come in and give an inauguration speech. This is someone who could speak to Soleimani whenever he wanted. He was the chief propagandist. He pulled all the little string. It was him.
He was the puppeteer.
And it was always him. He's the one who built Press TV from the ground up. He's the one who imagined everything that is written or said or posted on social media from the regime side. He's the one who architected the thought of the Islamic Republic. He was actually educated in Columbia at Columbia University. Thank you, Columbia.
Columbia, New York.
Yep.
Wow. Another thing to add to their proud recent history. So you're face to face with
Yes.
the Ayatollah.
Yes.
What happens?
Look. So I get in front of him. Look, you have to understand that by the time I got to Iran not understanding, not knowing that was going to happen that day. Okay, it wasn't in the plan. It was a bit of a shock. But I guess I think Nader had a lot to do with it, and I think he liked me for some reason. His wife liked me very much, and I was let in. I was like a member of their family. It was, but I think it was part of the grooming, like to make you feel special and loved and taken care of, and of course to be boosting my ego by giving me access to all those people, because as far as they were concerned, I was buying it. And when you're buying it and you're being exposed to, those very people who are considered to be godly as far as the regime is concerned, they basically own your soul forever, because you're like, oh my God, I've been, granted, a way into the pantheon. I'm like now, a part of that, the fabric of that regime, and I'm going to do great or whatever. And so I think that they felt that I was going to fall for it. Well, I didn't, but they gave me great access, so thank you very much. But the man just proceeded to tell me, he gave me a great explanation as to what is it that they meant when they were saying death to Israel. Because a lot of the time we hear the lie that, it's about the state, it's about the political construct or whatever. No. He was quite clear. He's talking about the sons and daughters of Jacob, as in the biblical Jacob. That means us. Now, if you want to push it further, you could say that we're talking about the Judeo-Christian world, in that obviously Christianity also recognizes Jacob as, the forefather of the tribes of Israel, blah, blah, blah.
Does Islam not?
Sorry?
Islam does as well, doesn't it?
Yes, I know, but they're quite special. They want to kill us.
Right, okay.
So I don't think they like Jacob very much. Or anyone else for that matter. But then again, they're Palestinians, we are told. So it's confusing.
Okay.
So he talked about that. He also asked me.
This is the Ayatollah, yeah.
That's the Ayatollah. Now, something that is quite interesting
Sorry, is the Ayatollah allowed to speak to, what's the relationship between men and women? And
he can do whatever he wants, is the Ayatollah.
Okay.
And also, he's never alone in the room. Also, quite frankly, people will not like me saying this, but he doesn't, girls are not the problem. That's all I'm going to say.
Huh. Was that evident from your meeting?
It's been told. I'm sure that other people will attest to it, not me. I mean, I haven't witnessed anything, thank God.
These are rumors in Tehran, are they?
Everyone knows it's like the worst, best kept secret ever in the regime. It's a thing.
Huh. So I interrupted you earlier about his conversation with you and what he was talking about.
He was, he asked me a question, asking me if I thought that God was unjust and genocidal. And I was just like, well, what do you mean to me? He asked me, would you ever qualify God as being genocidal? Because he is, after all, responsible for all death, technically.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. I mean, I was just like, yes. And then he went on to explain to me that he can't possibly understand why people would then accuse him of being a genocidal tyrant when he's not doing anything, it's not any different what God is doing. For the sake of Islam, of course. So that's a good way to explain genocide.
Wow. And then, so this is all part of this sort of half an hour conversation.
Yeah.
He
talked the whole time. It wasn't me. Now, it was translated.
Did you ask? You didn't have time to
No,
ask questions?
you're not allowed. Okay. I wasn't allowed. I was just there to witness.
And you're part of a group of people? Or?
No, it was me in the room. You had other people there, but it was just me being allowed, to speak to him. It wasn't supposed to be publicized. It wasn't supposed to be talked about either. It was the BBC that kind of landed me in it.
When did they land you in it?
Well, they just asked me during an interview, because they asked me, have you met with Khamenei? And I said no, because at the time, I wasn't quite sure how that's going to pan out.
When was that?
It was back in 2022.
Okay, so this is after you'd come out.
Yeah. And so I wasn't quite sure whether I should say now and whether it was relevant to the conversation that we were having at the time. Because I do believe, too, that information is only useful, at specific... I mean, at this juncture, it needs to be needed. If it's just for the sake of me giving you information that's not relevant to the conversation, what's the point? It's like name dropping.
Yes, but
it's useless.
Sort of, except that these sort of inconsistencies is why I have. Well, look.
I understand. I was literally put in the middle of a storm. And so I didn't know how to kind of maneuver it. And so I didn't know what to do. And it's not like I had someone holding my hand, advising me and telling me you should say this and you should say that. And don't talk about this, don't talk about that. So I literally just kind of went along and I figured it out along the way. But the BBC was quite clear that, oh, by the way, we have it on the great authority that you've met with Khamenei. I was like, well, okay, so well, there you go. Yes, fine. So I had to come out with it. And also the regime did that for me as well, because it was all over the news in Iran that, X, Y, Z happened.
Well, before we come to that, is there anything else about your experience with Khamenei that that we should know about?
No, that's not.
So you were sort of there, and that must have been just a completely surreal experience.
Very much so. I mean, it was an out-of-body experience. So, people have asked me the details of the car and the car journey. I don't remember. It's like asking my brain what I don't think was registering. I don't know. It was very strange. It's like it's almost like a movie playing in your head, and you're kind of looking at it from like you becoming a spectator. It's a very strange thing to go through, and it was surreal. You in front of that man. That was the second time, for me to be in front of him, because the first time was, of course, at the conference when he made the speech, and I saw people literally pass out.
And this would have been a room of thousands of people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not thousands of people,
Hundreds.
but yeah. And people passing out, screaming in adoration. I was thinking, like, what the hell is going on?
Yes.
It was quite... I mean, I've never witnessed, the cult of the personality like that. It was something else.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Winston Marshall Show. You can click here to watch the full episode. And for more clips like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, be well.